So thanks a lot, Carolina, for being interviewed by me to talk about Hello Kitty of all things. I'm sure last week you wouldn't have thought of someone from Canada, Calgary, actually around the world would know you of Hello Kitty fame. So, how did you come upon on writing about Hello Kitty? Is not a cat in the first place. What a catchy
You,
title!
it was a little bit of, like all good stories, it's a little bit of an accident. I was doing there are a number of Hello Kitty events coming to Los Angeles in the fall. There's a big exhibition coming at the Japanese American National Museum in downtown LA, and there's going to be a convention hosted by the Museum of Contemporary Art. And so I thought, it would be nice to just do like a little preview of sort of what's coming down the pipe for these events. And so I get on the phone with the curator of the exhibition. And in our conversation, I happened to say, oh, yes, because the cat, I refer to Hello Kitty as a cat. And she corrects me and says, no, actually, my understanding is that Hello Kitty is not a cat. And we've been told by that Sanrio that, she is not a cat. She's not to be described as a cat. She doesn't do cat-like things like stand on all fours. She's often described as a little girl or a friend. She is a character, and I believe the term she used, it was karutia. You'll have to forgive me because my Japanese is terrible. I don't speak Japanese. But she is a character, but that Sanrio did not see her as a cat. And so I was really surprised because I grew up with Hello Kitty, and I'd always thought of her as a cat. And
Right.
so
The
I
whiskers,
include,
like the
yeah,
pointy
she's got the
ears.
little
Like what?
whiskers and the little ears and I said, and in fact, I was so incredulous about it that I actually went online earlier because I was like, if Hello Kitty's not a cat, I'm sure other people have written about this. And then I ended up finding, some documents that proved that yes, that was the way Sanrio viewed its character. But I included that item about Hello Kitty not being a cat into a larger story about a couple of other things that we may or may not know about Hello Kitty, that her creators thought of her as being British in origin, that she has a twin sister, that she likes apple pie. Like there's a bunch of things in the story. And so
And
when
she get her own pet cat, right?
yeah, and she
Charming
has her own
kitty.
pet cat, Charmy Kitty. And so, I thought the story might, get some Hello Kitty geeks excited. I did not expect that like Vanity Fair was going to be rewriting it. I was completely kind of surprised by how big it got.
Right, and it's a global phenomenon too, right?
Yeah.
I told you in one of my early email, I pick up the stories from a Chinese media. So in China and Hong Kong, they're talking about it, and in Canada, CTV, I read about it. I do my
Yeah.
own like fact check too, right? It's like really. So, but then I see like the report here and there. So like it's crazy. So
Yeah.
so you actually when you wrote the article, you already have the image guideline, like the document, PDF document.
Well, when the
That
curator told me
uh-huh.
that, I wanted, I just went online. I think as a reporter, you just always want to make sure you have your facts straight.
Yeah.
Like if I have someone, she's a curator and she's written a book about Hello Kitty, so obviously I trust her judgment, but at the same time, I was like, wow, I wonder if anybody's written this before. And so I just did some Googling, Hello Kitty, not a cat, and I came across this image usage document that
Right.
Sanrio Europe had
Yeah.
posted. And the
Very
number one
detailed stuff too,
rule,
right? 20 or 30, like a
yeah, it
lot.
had 20 or 30 rules about,
Yeah.
how Hello Kitty is depicted and when and what images are used for what. And the number one rule is Hello Kitty is not a cat. She's a little girl. Do not use animal references. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is confirmation of what I'm being told. And for the record, I mean, this was not something just the curator heard, but that, a number of other people at the Japanese American National Museum, it had been communicated by Sanrio that, Hello Kitty was not to be identified as a cat. I mean, we can all sit here and debate like, is she a cat? Is she not a cat? It starts getting, is she a personification of a cat? Is
Right.
she an anthropomorphization of a cat? It can get a little bananas. I think
Yeah. A little
I think
abstract.
what's
It's like the picture of this is not a pipe in French.
ex-
Like what? This is not a
exactly.
pipe. Oh, you mean this is a picture of a pipe? Like
Exactly. I mean, I
seriously.
think what that gets at more than anything, and what I think is really interesting about it, is that it gets at Hello Kitty's success in a way. The fact that Sanrio would be so careful as to how they describe their character, in any sort of material that they produce. That the fact that she's not a cat, people always talk about the fact that her mouth isn't drawn on as giving Hello Kitty a certain emotional blankness. And so that way the viewer can then project
Yeah.
whatever they want. She can be cool, she can be cute, she can look sad. It's like whatever you're feeling, you can kind of project it on her because she doesn't, when you take away the mouth,
Hmm.
it's kind of hard to see what someone's thinking.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so,
It's only since then, since reading your article, I've done some more research and reading the
yeah,
same exact same thing.
it's
Like
been
the
written about.
mouthless, there is a reason, psychological reason. Yeah, it doesn't have to
Exactly.
be
The
happy all
mouthing
the
has
time.
been written
Yeah.
about
Mm.
extensively in the past.
Right.
And so for me, the debate about like whether she is or isn't a cat or she's the personification of a cat, I mean, we can sit here, all night and hash that out over some beers, and the
Right,
debate
right, right.
the debate will never end. But
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting about it is that she is in many ways this kind of blank canvas that we can kind of project our own
Hmm.
emotions on. And I think by by not wanting to label her a cat,
Hmm.
I think Sanrio is trying to keep that canvas as blank as possible. Do you know what I mean? By
Yeah, I totally know what you mean.
identifying
Yeah.
her as little as possible, they keep her as sort of vague and amorphous, and the viewer
Hmm.
brings their own involvement with her. And I think that attests to why this character, more than any other Japanese character, has taken off at such a global level. I mean, wherever you go, people are into Hello Kitty, like children and adults.
Right, and the global nature and the like the viral nature of this thing, like would you have imagined this? And how are you feeling? How are you taking it all in
Oh my
now?
God.
Like, are you
Well, I
enjoying
mean,
your like 15 minutes of fame here as a
I would
reporter?
never.
Like
I
you
mean,
are the subject now,
honestly,
right?
honestly, if I was gonna have 15 minutes of fame, I would hope that it'd be over a story more serious.
Well, you don't get to choose, right?
Like you don't get to choose. I'm like, come on, you guys. I write all these stories about
Yeah,
art and
serious stuff,
race and prison culture and
right?
women and
Yeah.
this is what goes crazy. Like you just can't pick it. I definitely. I mean, I think the fact that it got so big speaks to the appeal that Hello Kitty has globally.
Yeah.
It's like I could see it just like you. You said you picked it up from Chinese media. I
Hmm.
mean, I was following Twitter that night, and all of a sudden, I could see people in the Philippines talking about it. Like the later it got,
Right.
it's like people in Asia start waking up.
Yeah.
Because of the time difference with Los
Hmm.
Angeles. And so I could see the Philippines going bananas, and then I could see like some other country going bananas. And it was like,
Yeah.
it just kept steamrolling and steamrolling. And it all goes back to this icon just being so important globally that if it had been some other Japanese character, if it had been Batsmaru, I don't know if it had been even Pokemon, who is tremendously popular,
In North
a
America, yeah.
game character. But I still don't think those characters have the international appeal that Hello Kitty does. And the sort of I think part of it is that people feel this tremendous fondness for this character. So when you tell them something that they don't believe to be true, oh
Yeah.
man, they're going to
So
talk about it.
simple, right? The image, and then they can't believe like this is not true. And then, yeah, the black and white, right? So I have to fess up. Like originally, I read your article, and then I read some more. Like I thought, nah, you're right. But then I flip flop many times, right? I
Yeah.
read your article, and then the research or the lady did, and what she was told. But then I read another article, like someone actually, I think his name is, I don't want to, Brian Ashcraft.
Yes, from
He did,
Kotaku.
right, right. And he actually called up
Sanrio.
Sanrio, right? And the lady, like on the phone, seems like she want to change it, and like go, it's not a cat, it's too far. So for a moment, I thought, okay, he must be right, and it's lost in translation with the
Well, I
interview.
mean,
But no, going back, like the black and white, the
yeah, I mean,
guidelines, right? They have it
I
on black and white that
I,
is not
I
a
don't,
cat.
I don't contest Kotaku's story. I mean, I think they're absolutely right. First of all, he can read Japanese and I can't, so he's going to understand subtleties in the language that,
Right.
unfortunately, just because of my own limitations, I'm never going to be able to convey.
Right, right. True.
I think he also got a very nuanced response from Sanrio, and I think that that very nuanced response is just not what had been out there. I mean, I think nobody had ever had to think about it really before, so they hadn't had to come up with like a
So
super
you thinking this is a
like
lost in
complicated.
translation moment in the original guidelines? Like, but here's it. Here it is, right? I mean, that's the brand image guidelines that I think we both
Yeah.
have read, and it clearly said it's not a
Yeah, the
cat,
brand
right?
image,
Like,
Sanrio's brand image guidelines
yeah,
clearly say do not describe Hello Kitty as a cat.
yeah,
Now, that's in English.
yeah.
How the word cat and its variations are used in Japanese, I have no idea.
Hmm.
So, and that was something that Kotaku was getting at in their post, that there was that that what I think Sanrio is trying to allude to is that, Hello Kitty is something else, and that maybe in trying to say that she's not a cat is that she's greater than that. You know what I mean? She isn't a simple cat on the street. She is
Right.
something else. And
Hmm.
so I think, and they described it as a personification of a cat, which is still not technically a cat, though a personification of a cat still bears cat traits. So, I mean, I feel like we could kind of sit here and debate like the
Hmm.
minutia of it, but I mean, certainly what Sanrio is communicating to people at a corporate level and, to the show's curators is that they don't want Hello Kitty described as a cat. That may just be in English, but that's certainly what I've seen.
Yeah. I guess the bigger picture of it is like this is the 40th anniversary, right? I think
Yes.
Sanrio cannot ask for anything better than this firestorm on the character that they apparently I read that they don't put money to advertise, right? And there
Yeah.
is like going to be another bonanza on sales on Hello Kitty.
Yeah, I'm
So
sure.
why
I'm
not?
sure that despite all of the insanity, I'm sure Sanrio's really happy. This is really good for them,
Right, right.
and it's great, and it gets everyone thinking about this character that is now 40 years old, and asking questions about relevance and meaning and projection and emotion and blah 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 and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's good for them. But it's the thing that in 10 minutes it'll die down because somebody else will do something on the internet and then the internet will focus on that.
Yeah, true, true. Yeah, imagine. I've read that the current designer, the third designer of Hello Kitty, when she took over, there was talk of years, decades ago. There were talks of like maybe do away with Hello Kitty as a character, and
Oh
now
wow.
like 40th anniversary is she's still going strong and
She is still
creating
going
kind.
very
I think it's
strong.
very very loved in a sense. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's really interesting. I mean, I think it just gets at this really interesting story, because like, yeah, it's black and white. Sanrio has an edict that she's not to be described as a cat. That's black and white. Now, whether she's the personification of a cat, inspired by a cat, an anthropomorphization of a cat, I mean, we can sit here. Everybody can debate that until the cows come
Mm.
home, and I mean, it's not going to change what Hello Kitty looks like.
Right, right.
Like,
So you have
um,
two articles, like one lengthy one, the first one, and then an
uh-huh.
update. Are you going to write more about Hello Kitty, or like you have
If
Hello Kitty enough for like
I
a
think
while?
if I write anything, I'll probably write something else when the show
The
comes
shows. Hmm.
comes out because I am very curious to see the show. I'm curious to see how the show addresses this. I mean, in speaking with the curators, I
Uh-huh.
mean, I think there was definitely an intention of, discussing the fact that Hello Kitty was not a cat and
Hmm.
discussing even some other controversies about Hello Kitty or criticisms that people have had of Hello Kitty or things that Hello Kitty has inspired. I mean, I think this exhibition is intended to sort of really look at Hello Kitty as this broad pop cultural phenomenon. So I think once the show goes up in October, that will be a fine opportunity for me to sort of explore some of these larger questions about why Hello Kitty has been such a phenomenon. I mean, I feel I grew up with Hello Kitty. I feel she's very close to my heart,
Yeah, I admit, me
So,
too.
but yeah, will I do any more blog posts about like, I don't know, Katy Perry tweeting about it? Nah, I
All
think
right, good for you.
I'm
Good for you.
done.
Yeah, good for you. But yeah, I mean, in the sense that as an art reporter, like you writing this and then bringing up the discussion, and when art shows come up and maybe more people are going to see it, hey,
Yeah.
isn't that a reporter's job? You're
Yeah,
doing it
I mean,
well.
I think it's one of those things that I think a lot of people are going to be very eagerly anticipating this exhibition as a result. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I think, the Japanese American National Museum is a small museum here in Los Angeles, but they do very important stuff. And so, you know what? Good for them if it gets their profile out there too. So, it's like if it gets people thinking about art, if it gets people thinking about design, if it gets people thinking about why we choose to follow the things in our culture that we do, you know what? It's not bad as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I thought about all those and also the business side of it too. Like
Yeah,
remind
well,
me
there's
of
a
Jean.
big
Yeah,
business side to it.
yeah.
Yeah, and
There's
I'm
so
I'm
many
curious to.
different use of Hello Kitty, right? Gene Simmons Kiss Hello Kitty, and different brands that use Hello Kitty, like work with Hello Kitty and horror film. Like wow, really?
Exactly.
Okay, there's one.
Motor oil,
Yeah.
guitars,
Mm-hmm.
men's underwear. I mean, Hello Kitty has been on everything. It really has been a merchandising phenomenon. So from Sanrio's standpoint, I can see why they wouldn't. They want to keep her as blank as possible because then people can read whatever they want into her.
Yeah, well,
And
she's in
so,
space too, right? Recently.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
on a satellite. She's on a
Yeah,
satellite.
that's cool. All right. Well, yeah, thanks a lot for your time today.
No problem.